Politics is a battlefield. Okay, maybe not literally, but there are winners and losers, and just like in a real war, strategy matters. Big time. For the past 20 years, the Democrats have been on the losing side more often than not. They've lost ground in Congress, state legislatures, even governorships. Something ain't adding up. One reason? The other guys are playing chess while Democrats are playing checkers. Let's be real, the Republicans have been running a masterclass in political strategy. They've weaponized everything from redistricting to good old-fashioned fear-mongering. They understand that winning isn't just about having the best ideas, it's about outmaneuvering your opponent. Democrats, on the other hand, seem to have missed the memo. They've put too much faith in data and algorithms, forgetting that politics is about people. You can have the best data in the world, but if you can't connect with voters on a human level, you're toast. Look, I'm not saying Democrats don't care. They care about important issues, climate change, healthcare, social justice, but sometimes it feels like they're speaking a different language than the average voter. They need to figure out how to talk about these issues in a way that resonates with people's everyday lives. Otherwise, they're going to keep losing. Let's talk about redistricting for a second. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. This is some straight-up House of Cards stuff. Every 10 years, after the census, states get to redraw their congressional districts. Sounds innocent enough, but here's the catch. The party in power gets to draw the lines. And boy, have Republicans taken advantage of this. They've turned redistricting into an art form. The art of gerrymandering. We're talking districts so weirdly shaped, they look like Picasso got drunk and decided to play SimCity. The result? Republicans have been able to cling to power even when they don't win the popular vote. It's like winning a game by changing the rules in the middle. Not exactly fair play, right? Now let's talk about the Democrats. They love data, like really love data. They've got algorithms for everything, predicting voter turnout, identifying swing voters, even figuring out what kind of Facebook ads you're most likely to click on. Don't get me wrong, data is important, but it's not a magic bullet. The problem is Democrats have become so reliant on data that they've forgotten about the human element of campaigning. Knocking on doors, talking to voters face to face, listening to their concerns, the stuff that used to be considered basic political strategy. It's like they're trying to win an election by spreadsheet instead of by connecting with actual human beings. And guess what? It's not working. People can smell a robot a mile away. They want to know that you care, that you understand their problems, that you're not just some out-of-touch politician who shows up every 4 years asking for their vote. Gap 3S. Let's dive deeper into the Democrats' strategy. Over the past few years, they've made some significant changes. They've started to focus more on grassroots movements, engaging with communities at a local level. This shift has shown some promise, but it's still a work in progress. The key is consistency and persistence. They need to keep building these relationships, election after election. It's not just about winning one race, it's about creating a sustainable movement that can withstand the test of time. Consider the example of Stacey Abrams in Georgia. Her grassroots organizing efforts have been credited with turning the traditionally red state blue in the 2020 presidential election and the subsequent Senate runoffs. Abrams and her team didn't just show up a few months before the election. They spent years registering voters, educating them about their rights, and making sure they had access to the polls. This kind of long-term investment is what it takes to create lasting change. However, it's not all smooth sailing. There are still significant challenges to overcome. Voter suppression tactics are on the rise, and Democrats need to be vigilant in protecting voting rights. Additionally, they must ensure that their message resonates with a diverse electorate. It's not enough to focus on urban areas. They need to reach out to rural communities too. Ultimately, the success of this grassroots strategy will depend on the Democrats' ability to stay the course. They need to keep showing up, keep listening, and keep fighting for every vote. If they can do that, they have a real shot at building a movement that can transform American politics for the better. Gap 3S. Gap 3S. On the other hand, the Republicans have been doubling down on their base. They've been very effective at mobilizing their core supporters, ensuring high voter turnout. This strategy has paid off in many elections, but it also has its risks. By focusing too much on their base, they risk alienating moderate and independent voters. Take, for example, the 2018 midterms and the 2020 presidential election. In both cases, Republican candidates saw strong support from their base, but struggled to win over independents and moderates. This was especially evident in suburban areas, where many voters felt disconnected from the party's more extreme positions. However, the GOP's strategy isn't just about energizing their base. They're also investing in voter outreach and education, using data analytics to target potential supporters with tailored messages. This approach has helped them maintain a significant presence in key battleground states. The challenge for the Republicans will be to strike a balance between energizing their base and appealing to a broader electorate. They need to find a way to address the concerns of moderate and independent voters without losing the enthusiasm of their core supporters. This balancing act will be crucial as they prepare for future elections. Ultimately, the success of the Republican strategy will depend on their ability to adapt and evolve. They need to be responsive to the changing political landscape and be willing to make adjustments as needed. If they can do that, they have a chance to maintain their influence and continue to shape American politics for years to come. Gap 3S. Another important aspect to consider is the role of social media in modern political campaigns. Both parties have been leveraging platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to reach voters. However, the effectiveness of these efforts varies. The Democrats have been more successful in using social media to engage younger voters. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram have become powerful tools for them to connect with Gen Z and millennials, who are increasingly turning to these channels for news and information. Through memes, viral videos, and influencer partnerships, Democrats have managed to create a sense of community and activism among younger demographics. On the other hand, the Republicans have been more effective at using social media to spread their message to a wider audience. Their use of Facebook and Twitter has allowed them to reach older voters and those in more rural areas. They have mastered the art of creating shareable content that resonates with their base, often using emotionally charged language and imagery to drive engagement. The key for both parties will be to find innovative ways to use these platforms to not just reach voters, but to engage and mobilize them. This means going beyond simple posts and tweets and creating interactive content that encourages participation. Live streams, Q&A sessions, and virtual town halls are just a few examples of how politicians can use social media to create a more dynamic and engaging campaign experience. As we move closer to future elections, the battle for social media supremacy will only intensify. Both parties will need to stay ahead of the curve, constantly adapting their strategies to the ever-changing digital landscape. The ones who can effectively harness the power of social media will have a significant advantage in shaping public opinion and driving voter turnout. In the end, social media is not just a tool for communication, it's a battleground for hearts and minds. And in the high-stakes world of politics, every like, share, and retweet counts. Gap 3S. Finally, let's talk about the future of political strategy. As technology continues to evolve, so too will the tactics used by political campaigns. Data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning will play an increasingly important role in shaping campaign strategies. Imagine a world where AI can predict voter behavior with unprecedented accuracy, allowing campaigns to tailor their messages to individual voters in real time. Machine learning algorithms could analyze social media trends to identify emerging issues and adjust campaign messaging on the fly. However, it's important to remember that at the end of the day, politics is about people. No amount of technology can replace the human element of campaigning. The most successful campaigns will be those that can effectively combine data-driven strategies with genuine human connection. This means not just relying on algorithms and analytics, but also investing in grassroots organizing and face-to-face interactions. As we look to the future, the challenge will be to strike the right balance between technological innovation and human touch. Campaigns that can master this balance will be the ones that resonate most deeply with voters, inspiring them to take action and make their voices heard. In the ever-evolving landscape of political strategy, one thing is clear. The future belongs to those who can blend the best of both worlds, harnessing the power of technology while never losing sight of the human heart at the core of every campaign. Gap 3S. Let's fast forward to the 2024 election. We've got Vice President Kamala Harris on the Democrat ticket going up against, drumroll please, Donald Trump. Now I know what you're thinking, not that guy again. But hey, it's 2024. Anything can happen. Now, Harris is a smart woman. She's a seasoned politician. But she's going to need more than that to beat Trump. She needs a message that cuts through the noise, a message that speaks to people's hopes and fears, a message that inspires them to get off the couch and vote. The problem is, Democrats have struggled to find that message in recent years. They've focused on important issues like abortion rights and climate change. But these issues, while crucial, haven't resonated with voters in the same way that more universal concerns have. Things like the cost of living, healthcare, and jobs. Trump, on the other hand, is a master at tapping into people's anxieties. He may not have the answers, but he knows how to push people's buttons. He'll hammer away at inflation, crime, and immigration. He'll paint a picture of a nation in decline, and he'll promise to be the only one who can fix it. If Democrats want to win, they need to figure out how to counter that message. They need to offer a more hopeful vision for the future. A vision that speaks to people's aspirations, not just their fears.